not?
It's actually not that bad. I like that. I like that. A little bit of nostalgia in there.
Yep. Give me 1 second. I am blue. Am I blue on your screen too?
Are you blue?
Yeah.
I mean, look, you don't look that sad to me. I mean, you should be good.
On my screen, I literally am the color blue.
Oh, wow.
We'll move past that. So we are brought to you by the Sports Affiliation. We are going to do kind of like, I'm going to call it a talking NBA mock draft. We're going to kind of talk through the whole first round, kind of each pick, what we expect to kind of happen, who we think, if there's anything that might or may not, might be up in the air for some of these teams. We'll kind of mention some of the different scenarios for them. I am Coach Craig. I got JR with me. What's the name of your show now?
Oh man, it's really a TSA hoop show, but we've been on hiatus for a season now. All for the better, though. I mean, just kind of getting stuff back in line, and for the better part, just to let you guys know, it made the season a little bit more enjoyable. Not to say that I don't like doing the show, but just being able to kind of sit back with a bird's eye view, let the whole thing unfold. And shout out to the Knicks. Definitely did their thing. Shout out to the San Antonio Spurs. Shout out to everyone that made the playoffs. This was, and before we get too deep into our draft talk, just want to say that the best thing about this championship, it was where talent and hard work met at the pinnacle. You have veteran leadership, guys that have been there, ton of experience, versus a team that had a lot of grit, definitely had their stuff together, but didn't have the experience to put it together. So I like always saying hard work beats talent when talent don't work hard, but talent worked hard on this one. So that was that was phenomenal on this one.
Well, and a lot of underdogs too. Brunson is kind of an underdog. Cat was kind of an afterthought in Minnesota at one point in time. Mike Brown, definitely. The head coach, like a lot of pieces that came together to really unite for a championship. But like I said, for this, we're mainly just going to be talking through. I got a mock draft simulator up on the screen. I will knock basketball a little bit because there's not the greatest mock simulator options out there. So maybe, JC and I were talking about this earlier. Maybe, if somebody wants to make a really good one. But this is the one I ended up on. So the first overall pick, we got the Washington Wizards.
Yep.
I think for the most part, a lot of people have been thinking this is going to be AJ Devonsa. Now it's kind of between him and Darren Peterson. Those are the two main guys that have really worked out for them. Peterson, most notably, has only worked out for the Wizards.
Yep.
And says he doesn't want to go to Utah. We'll probably talk about that a little bit more when we get to Utah.
Yep.
And then AJ's worked out for both the Wizards and the Jazz, to my knowledge.
Yep. And I'm pretty much on board there. It's a 1A, 1B conversation. I don't think you can necessarily go wrong with either. They're both NBA ready. It's just, and we were talking about this a little bit before the show starts. The show started. Now that you have Trae Young possibly re-upping his contract, having that possible leadership in the locker room, not going to be on the court a lot, but just being able to help the young talent. What's Washington going to do as far as being competitive? East is reloading. People are getting healthy. It's back. So I don't know. Especially with New York being the champions right there, it's more of a question of which talent do you see being able to be more moldable into your vision for the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, and I think there's less health question marks with Devonta at this point in time, so that's probably the safer pick. But the Wizards have also been the team that are known not always to take the safest pick too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So,
So I guess that's basically it for me. I figured Washington was just going to be just a cut and dry move. They're going to fold under pressure and take whoever they think is going to be number one at that time.
I think probably at this point it's Devonta unless we hear otherwise. I also would not rule them out trading down either.
That would probably ease a lot of tensions. I'll tell you that much.
Yep. So I'm just going to put Devonta here. When we get to the Jazz at 2, that's where things get interesting. If Devonta does go on, Peterson says he doesn't want to go to Utah. I think that's a lot of his agency because they're also the agent for Keontae George, and they don't want to hurt his extension. They want to get the most money for both their clients. Obviously, Carlos Boozer is in the Jazz's front office, so obviously a little bit of a conflict of interest there, although his son, is very talented in his own right. It's not like you're just grabbing him to grab him type thing.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to this, I actually suggested getting Boozer just for the optics of this whole situation. I think that if you got a guy out there that allows for his agent to put out that he doesn't want to go to Utah, it's Ace Bailey all over again. It took a while for Ace to get into the rotation, play up to standards. Probably wasn't until the latter half of the season where Utah was clearly tanking, but definitely trying to get their young talent some reps. That you saw the talent that Ace Bailey had, but then the question becomes like, if he continues with that attitude, like I don't want to be in Utah, do they want to repeat that as the Utah Jazz? And why not go for Cam? I mean,
yeah, and just because it worked out last year doesn't mean that same situation is going to work out this year in a way.
Exactly.
So I think Boozer is maybe the safer pick. I would still not rule out Utah trading to number 1. I'm on the record of saying if you trade Ace Bailey and like 2 first-round picks for number 1, like plus number 2, which is some of the rumors have been out there, the difference in my mind between Ace Bailey and AJ Devonta is not great enough to make that. And I think that is a move that could set your franchise back for multiple seasons.
Yeah. It's again, having that experience now for Ace, and now that he's sort of settled in and sees where he can actually fit in the rotation, it's less about where he's at. And I mean, nothing against Utah, but I wouldn't want to go to Utah. And snow, it's dry, it's desolate of the things that I generally enjoy as a Californian. And I'm not knocking the state. It's just what the limits are that you can do as a player, as an NBA player, especially as a young guy like Ace Bailey. But I'm pretty sure that this offseason will allow him to see that it's basketball. It's a professional job, and he can make his money and go anywhere else in the world if he wanted to.
Yep. And that's the thing, even with these guys that are highly drafted, it's like you only got to be there for a couple of years to prove your worth, and then say you don't want to be there, and then you can get traded anywhere.
Yeah, play up, play awesome, show some grit for the team, show some leadership, and show like, hey, I can do this anywhere.
Yeah,
that's what it's about, paying your dues right there.
Yeah, that gets to number 3. I think at that point, Memphis would probably just take Peterson. Like it's between him and Caleb Wilson at that point in time, and Memphis typically takes the more polished player.
Yep.
Instead of the project. So it really comes down to like next up's the Bulls. I know pretty much everybody and their mother has put Caleb Wilson here for the longest amount of time. Yep. It sounds, to my knowledge, that the Bulls are probably most interested in Caleb Wilson and Keaton Wagler. Wagler might go high, might not go high. He's one of those guys that could fall. He's probably a guy that the Bulls would trade up for with their second pick. So I think Caleb Wilson probably does make some sense here, especially after they hired Tiago Splitter, where he's been a guy that's been able to develop players in Portland.
Which is going to be the other question, right? I mean, Chicago Bulls is where they end up at is like continual showing of great projects and not really being able to finish the deal. So they start out the season hot every single year, and then they just fall flat. Injuries, disconcerting like trades, whatever. Like teams continually pick apart the Bulls when they develop their correct talent, and hopefully Tiago's standing there and says, "No, I'm developing these guys." The answer is no. Everyone's staying here, and then they move forward because I'm sure purgatory just isn't where they want it to be for the last 2-3 seasons.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things just with the Bulls. They're like, we want to be good enough to make the playoffs, but never to do anything in playoffs. And I think finally they're realizing, hey, we need to tear down a little bit before we can build back up.
Yeah.
And if you can have a young core, like a Josh Giddey, Caleb Wilson, and Buzelis, you might have something there. Still need a big man, but that's besides the point.
Which is, you mentioned Wagler. I put him down more like 6, 7, 8, but I think it's just best available at that point. And if Caleb's there, I think Caleb's gone.
Yeah, so we get to the Clippers. The Clippers are one of those picks. Obviously, they did not expect to have the number 5 pick. Obviously, a great trade for them when they got traded away Zubac and got this pick, but that's a little besides the point at this point in time. This is kind of one of the picks. It's like this is where things kind of get interesting. This is a pick that could very much be on the move. Do they stay with it? Do they go with the Darius Acuff? Do they go with the Mikel Brown Jr.? Do they go with, some other type of wing player? For this mock draft that we're doing, we're not really doing trades at this point in time. So
we're just
I don't know if you have a strong lean with the Clippers right now or not.
Well, the problem with the Clippers is that we still remember the debacle that suddenly popped up about planting trees and the punishment that never was for the Los Angeles Clippers. And we don't know what came about if that's still lingering for that investigation. So I think that if you're trying to make waves without trying to make too many waves, you do trade down a little bit. You still remain in the top 10. Just take the pressure off of you and show that you're actually still interested in building a team and doing something with this pick. Get some of that cash that's supposedly going to Kawhi and make it look good on the books. Kind of spread that evenly amongst some of your support cast. Mm-hmm. But there was no consensus pick that really fit whatever the Clippers are doing right now, because we don't know what the Clippers are doing right now. Yeah. And that's been the problem, is that their focus and their offensive presence peaks at particular times, and then they don't have enough firepower or guys that are healthy enough in the rotation to be able to last a year. So maybe they do go out and get a guy to help them out towards the end of the season.
Yeah, so I think this is a pick. I would not be surprised if they move down 2 picks with the Kings and the Kings just trade up for a Cuff. I feel like that makes sense at that point in time. Mm. I am a big Cuff believer, personally. So, if I was the Clippers, if I'm stuck in this pick, I'd just take the best player who I think is a Cuff at that point in time. There's pretty good rumors that they like Mikel Brown Jr., though. There's some rumors that they even like Burries, too. So, this one's kind of up in the air if you have a lean at all.
You smelling what a Cuff is putting out there when he said that, this combine is not my peak. I have more to give.
I mean, my biggest thing with him is everybody knocks his defense, but they forget that half the time he showed up in a walking boot and then went out and played too. Yeah, you're going to dog it on defense when you were in a walking boot 20 minutes before the game.
Sorry, I was injured at that time. It could only go half speed, but watch me at 100%. I don't know. I had him at 6 at Brooklyn. And again, we're just treating this as if 5 through 9 isn't going to do some flip-flop action, which they probably are.
I mean, personally, I might just take a Cuff here because I think Sacramento's going to trade up for a Cuff at 5. So if we want to do that, argument there, I'm fine with that. Brooklyn's where things get really interesting.
Yep.
Because they drafted all the guards last year.
Yep.
Demon was all right, but the other guys really didn't do anything. So It's like you go with another guard, to be your lead guard next to Demon. They've been tied a lot to Nate Ament. I'm not super high on Nate Ament, but there's some NBA teams that are.
How many guards does that make on contract for them if they do get another guard? Is that 7?
Too many.
You guys are playing in the East. You do know you're playing against Cat, Embiid. What's his name down in Miami? Asia's boyfriend.
Bam Adebayo.
You got Indiana coming back. I mean, all that they possess.
Yeah.
Boston's probably looking for a big man right now. So, I mean, I don't know. Trade up, trade down, go get a big man.
Yeah, I feel like if you're going to take Nate Ament, maybe you just move down a couple picks or whatever. But I think based on what I'm hearing, there's a lot of steam about them taking him unless they're really, really comfortable with, or I should say uncomfortable with the guard situation.
So we got.
I'd say that
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say I see him now. He was projected at 10.
Yeah, in this one, yeah. I know everybody's is a little bit different. I think I had him probably around 12 because I'm not sure what the final product's going to look like. But the Nets don't need him to be the final product right away.
The way he moves, he's got feet.
And he's still growing.
He's still growing.
He's like 6'10" and a half.
He's been playing with grown men for a good part of his career. So that's not a bad decision. But again, we could see that, and then he goes to the wrong team, and now we're having a Ja Morant situation all over again. We're having I kind of want to say a Greg Oden situation if we want to go kind of back, because as much as I loved him being in Portland as a presence, team definitely could have did a little better with his health. But you're talking about a big guy that's growing, is young. You want to keep him healthy and on the court. I'm not sure that the Brooklyn Nets or the Kings would be the teams that he should go to, because right now they're just kind of throwing everything into the kitchen sink right now.
Yeah. So the two teams that have been probably connected to meant the most are going to be the Nets and the Bucks.
Yeah.
So do you want to go native men here at 6, or do you want to go like a guard?
I'm going guard. What if there's a team out there? I'm just going to throw this out there again, where trades don't really matter, but we got the Giannis thing hanging overhead. What if you go get him in and you just hang it over the Bucks' head like, hey, is this what you wanted? I got this for you, including the trade, so on and so forth. It's a possibility. I just 6'7", it's still guard for me, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets picked up and that's the play.
So I think at 6, I don't know if they're going to take like Kingston Flemings or Mikael Brown. I would lean probably towards like Wagler or Burries, like somebody that can shoot a little bit more, a guy that's a little bit more known. Not that I'm saying that Mikael Brown Jr. is not a scorer, but I think you would lean somebody that's more off, probably going to play more off ball than on ball.
Has to, especially with this team where you have two guys that hold the ball a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, MPJ being there is.
If it was me in this case, I would take Braden Burries, but I could be convinced to Wagler. I don't know if you have a preference there for the Nets.
Oh, and for me, keep in mind that a lot of these that I've assessed as far as the player is concerned, it's about the direction of the organization. I looked at a little bit of need, how they finished, where the biggest holes were, and essentially if they have the right coaching staff to be able to push that pick in the right direction. So that's where I said guard. They seem to be doing well with the 5 guard set.
I would also lean towards Burries because they had like Terrence Mann and like Drake Powell last year. More along the lines of his build. Those guys, more defensive focused guys that in Powell's case, you'd hope he becomes a 3-and-D player one day maybe. And then Mann's been 3 or D kind of throughout his career. He's had ups and downs throughout his career, but I think you get a better version in Burries of what he could be. And I think he's probably a little bit safer than Wagler given his size.
Where are we at with we're 7 right now with the Kings? Is that right?
I'm gonna do Burries for the Nets then. The Kings want a guard. Obviously, they would like to trade up for Darius Akuff. If he's not there, you're Mikael Brown Jr. or you're probably Kingston Flemings. I know there's been some Wagler buzz to them, but I think they really need a lead guard.
I'm gonna go Flemings at that point because I don't think Akuff is going to be available at that point.
So I would lean Mikael Brown Jr. I like him a lot more than Flemings. I'm not a believer in Flemings like at the NBA level. I think he'll be a good like backup point guard, but I don't think he's ever going to be like a high level starter, if that makes sense. So
sometimes you don't need to be a starter. Just be able to play.
Go Flemings. I mean, the Kings have been known to get things wrong before, so we'll go Flemings. The Hawks is kind of like an interesting situation. This is a pick where they could definitely trade back. They've been linked to guards. They've been linked to center at Ademara, which they like a Kungwu still, but they're talking about Mara a bunch. So I don't know. It's a weird situation.
What was Atlanta's problem last year, right? Not being big enough?
Not being big enough and not – they didn't really have like that true lead guard, though.
Right.
Because they had Alexander Walker, they had Dyson Daniels, they had CJ McCollum, guys that are better off ball.
Yeah.
I don't like – I mean, Mikael Brown Jr. would fit in with that group. He's got length.
I mean, Atlanta could just ask either Nickel or actually probably just going to ask Nickel to take the lead on that if CJ doesn't step up for that, and then go big man. I got Mara here.
What?
I got Mara here at 8.
Yeah, you want to go with Mara? I'm fine with it.
I'm going Mara at 8.
It's probably the most rumored one, so we'll go with it. Then we move down to Dallas. Dallas obviously the cards, and you got Wagler and Brown both here. So, I mean, you could argue the shooting of Wagler probably plays better next to Cooper Flag, but Mikael Brown Jr. has more defensive upside. I would say like maybe a little bit safer, but then he did have all the back injuries too, and he's got that history of it. So,
I mean, they already had to deal away a big man that had back and hip injuries.
Yep, and I know Burry's already went, but he's been really trying to position himself to go to Dallas at 9.
So I guess are we moving Flag to the 2 and then figuring out if someone can play off ball then, or just be a sort of a vacuum there? Because my thought is Kyrie's coming back.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? Do you need someone athletic to lob to?
There's a lot up in the air with Dallas. It just kind of depends on like who they draft, how the offseason goes. They've kind of moved more towards almost like positionless in a way.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you could tell when they put Cooper on ball handling, like just go out there, do your thing. We'll swing and connect and then just drive, and we'll just continue to do that, and that's how we'll score. Mm-hmm. It's actually kind of more modern NBA anyway.
Yeah, it's just all right. The biggest question probably be Kyrie coming back. Are they going to stagger Kyrie and Flag where they take pressure off of each other, or do you want to add a third person in here that's able to take pressure when those two aren't on the court?
Well, the closest model to that right now, I think, is Boston, the way that they have Brown and Tatum up there. And, when Tatum came back, it was a question of, is one relief or is one just the other option? And you need number 3, which was supposed to be Derek White. Of course, he fell flat that season. And just looking at that example, you go, we were going in that direction until we saw what the lack of the third option created for as far as offensive and defensive production. So a little bit different situation because, Tatum was also hampering that leg injury. So
I think it really just comes down to, do you want shooting or do you want defensive potential and size and a guy that can lead the offense?
I think in the West, you're going to want shooting.
And so that would probably lean towards Wagler at that point. And then you get down to the Bucks. The Bucks, oh boy, they're very much in flux at this point. That kind of runs, but so do we just go Nate in here and just say trade Giannis at some point, hope for the best?
Yeah. Well, pray he didn't get stolen.
I think that's the best case scenario. Did we just give him the Warriors up? The Warriors could go 10 different directions, honestly. But if Mikael Brown Jr. is there, how do you not take him?
Well, history.
I know that. Yeah.
And they'll just try to screw the pooch. They'll probably go Lindenberg there.
They might.
Just snatch him out. Oh, we're gonna make him a project. He's gonna be great. He's so tall. He's so big.
The problem is Lindenberg. The guy he most reminds me of is Kyle Anderson, which not a bad NBA role player, but like I think a lot of people, based on him being at Michigan, based on the success there, act like he's better than he really is. And he's old already.
But again, this is the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
Kerr just got re-upped. Don't know what's happening with the sunset of Curry.
They could definitely use a guy with some size that, I mean, he's a guy that's going to come in and give you a floor for when, Draymond sits out, for when Curry sits out and all that, because they rest guys all the time. So at least you know what you're getting. But do you want that, or do you want Mikel Brown Jr. that's got some upside that can also lead the team when those guys don't play, kind of like what Jordan Poole did at one point in time?
You mean, do the Golden State Warriors want to start looking at the possible future of the team, is what you're asking?
It's hard with Steve Kerr. It's hard with Steve Kerr coming back.
That's the problem. That's the problem. It's Kerr. Like, dude, you're sitting on gold. Stop squandering it. I know we love Curry. Curry's gonna help you get this team in order. You guys are gonna play him some weird Kobe deal towards the end of his career. Some guys are gonna leave. You're gonna thank him for his service. The team's gonna move on, and then they're gonna go with this next generational talent, and they're not gonna allow themselves to make the same mistake that they did the first time around. At least that's the alternate reality that I'm drawing, right?
For me, it's just so hard to pass up Brown if he was actually here, just because it's like what he can do for you and the future is better than anybody else on the board, though.
Let's make some people mad. Let's just put Lindenberg there.
Yeah.
Just because we think that Golden State is that silly.
Yeah. So then OKC pretty much like OKC is another one. It's like, okay, well, Brown's here. Like, you're probably losing Dort here. They might move on from Harden. Like, it's
not like, fair.
It's not fair. I don't think this should happen. I think
it's not fair. But you know what? Look, it might.
My only other argument here would be Heine Steinbach that I think could develop into like your Hartenstein replacement. I think there's a lot of similarities there. I don't know if he's worth the number 12 pick in the draft, though. But
I mean, OKC could just trade down, try to go get some money.
I think they'll trade down. I think there's been a lot of rumors whether or not they trade down, whether they trade up, whether they trade out completely. I think trading out completely would probably be at the next one. But, the next pick, I think, is 18. So even if you have Mikel Brown Jr. here, you might still get Heine Steinbach at 18.
It's really disgusting. They're in a win-win-win situation.
Yeah, just give him Brown and let's move on. So Miami's up next. Miami could go 10 million ways as well. I think, obviously they kind of want like that lead guard still.
Yeah.
If they get Giannis, a lot can change too. Because obviously if you have a Giannis, then you're like stuck in point forward-ish role. And then this pick's probably going to Milwaukee anyways at that point. So
you got to get a guard no matter what. They needed a primary ball handler. They were rotating guys around, and the turnover killed them towards the end of the year. So
like at this point, it's like pick your poison. I know, like in this on this mock, LeBaron Filan, who I like, is up there. I don't think he's the Heat guy though. If I had to pick one of these guards, it'd probably be Christian Anderson for them, a guy that can play some good defense, a guy that can lead a unit, a guy that he can knock down the three. I think he's more of the Heat type of player.
Kind of more like a Duncan Robinson kind of guy.
Yeah, but a guy that's, he's going to be your point guard too.
Yeah.
I think that's who they would lean towards at that point in time. Hornets are kind of like in this interesting position where they can go any way they want.
Yep.
Because they have a lot of things covered. There's still like the debate over center. I like Diabate. I think maybe Kalkbrenner will be all right in time. We'll see. Mainly, you're just looking for like depth behind Miles Bridges and potentially his replacement at some point in time.
That's it. You're looking for a stash and dash. And I mean, is this Lopez at this point?
I don't know if they'd be a Lopez team.
I'm trying to think who's available now, because we have.
I think, if I'm being honest, this feels like a Merez Johnson spot, a guy that could play the 4 or the 5, has some versatility, he has some upside. He might be able to knock down a shot, moving forward. There's a lot to like about him, where they don't need him to be great now, but he could definitely fit their plan long term.
Yeah, long term is probably going to be more of the goal anyway, because half of their issue was injury. I mean, the guys that they needed to come back, mainly Hero, just weren't 100%.
That's where I'd be, because it feels like at this point, you got Ball, you got Knipple, you got Brandon Miller, pretty much all locked up.
Yep.
It sounds like they want to bring Kobe White back. So they're kind of set in terms of guards, times the guys that are going to do the most of it. But I think Johnson could be, he's a guy that's going to be able to contribute in a lot of different ways. He probably develops into something decent in time. The one comp I heard on a podcast is like Isaiah Stewart, but they think he could have more upside than Isaiah Stewart, which is I don't know if he's ever going to be the defensive stopper that Isaiah Stewart is, but I don't know. It really seems like a guy that would fit what they want, but they've also have a history of kind of going off the rails sometimes too. I'm just going to give it to him at this point. We're going to try to speed up a couple of these too. So Bulls are up next. Bulls took Caleb Wilson in the beginning. They probably want somebody that can knock down a shot at this point, honestly, or a big man. So
get a nice pairing going, unless that pick gets paired and moved up. That's it.
I know they really want Wagler with the second one. And in terms of the big men that are here, it's like Chris Nack, Henry Vessar. I'm not in love with either of those two. I think Vessar would be more of the Bulls type, but I don't think they'd go this early on him. Oh, Steinbach they have listed as power forward, so they could also look at him. Technically, they're Jane Quaidance as well. Quaidance is like a big mystery where he goes, just because of the knee history of the knee injury. And then, so you either look at that, you look at this. I'm going to say what I'm going to say about this website. They have Code Pete listed as small forward. He's not a small forward by any stretch of imagination. I think this is where it kind of gets interesting too, because you kind of have Giddey as like your lead guard. Yep. If you want to play somebody next to him that can knock down a shot, maybe you look at Bennett Sturts out of Iowa. You look at Cam Carr as kind of like that 3-and-D developmental guy, a guy that had a lot of hype out of the combine, or you go back to like Steinbach as your big here. I wouldn't rule out Kareem Lopez either, just based on recent history, but new GM, new coach, so there's a lot of differences.
I don't know. We're at 15. I had Lopez earlier, but
I mean, if it was up to me here, I would take Cam Carr or Steinbach. Those would be the two guys that I would be looking at.
Ooh. As you're close, I have them going later, but not for any bad reason. Just
for which one?
Cam Carr.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his game, but I also watch a lot of Big 12 basketball, and just the length and the shot making and playmaking ability is something that is very attractive. And he didn't really play too much at Tennessee, but then at Baylor he was great. So it was just like, which is the true outcome. He was the best guy in the scrimmage game at the combine. He scored 30 points, and then he opted out of the second game. But a lot of notable guys didn't play in that scrimmage game. But it's just like, I'm going to bet on that upside here. We go to the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies took Darren Peterson earlier. So you kind of got Peterson, you get Coward. Zach Edey's around when he's healthy.
Need a big man, period.
They need a big man, and they're also a team that likes guys that are a little bit more proven. You know what I mean? At the college level. So it's just like Chris Nack's not proven at all. Vessar's kind of Steinbach probably. I don't. Or do they gamble on Jaden Quaidance? Just get a big physical guy that can split media. Maybe that's is that just the strategy? It's like, do you take him and Edey and just split them 24 minutes a game?
Well, I want to go
But they're
back a
both
little
hurt
bit.
all the time.
They for some reason, I don't know why this is a miss. They missed on Kenny Anderson, who could spread the floor, was a big guy,
Yep.
was pretty physical in the middle. They hit on Zach Edey, but Zach Edey had, you know, the injuries, and we knew that was coming. We could see it in the tournament. So I think you need a guy that can actually really take over at this point.
Yeah, well, there's not many guys like I would say that could take over. You know, Quaden's like could be it defensively, but he's got the like maybe you just take Steinbach and you hope on the hope he can do it defensively and knock down shots at the same time.
Like, what's the next best available thing to do? Is it share with Edey, or is it go get a shooter? Like, let's just get another shooter. Let's just spread the floor. We're not going to worry about being big on the inside. We're going to do sort of like Boston does.
Yeah.
We'll scramble and get our rebounds.
You grab a shooter. Let's see. Unless this is like no, they won't take Kareem Lopez. He's too much of a project. You know who they might take here? Dalen Swain out of Texas. The guy can't knock it. He has no jumper, but he does everything else. He seems like a Memphis guy. He's a guy that has the long history in college at Xavier in Texas.
And
that feels like the pick they would do.
Who do we have earlier for them? They took
Darren Peterson.
They took Pete Peterson.
Well, you could have Peterson. You could have Peterson, Coward, Swain, Edey, and then whatever else you want to say is on the rest of their team. I wouldn't take him at 16, but I could see Memphis doing it.
Yeah, let's do it. Lock it in.
Yeah, then we get to OKC, and OKC. I'm just taking Steinbach here. I'm like not even thinking twice about it because they didn't take the big man last time, and he's kind of like your pseudo Hartenstein replacement. He reminds me a lot of Hartenstein. And then we get to Charlotte. Charlotte took Morez Johnson Jr. the first time. So here you're probably going to take somebody that can score.
Ooh.
Or I don't think it's LeBaron Filan. Unfortunately, he's kind of fallen.
He's fallen six spots.
Yeah, but his range is like anywhere from like 11 to 24. I could see them taking Malik Thomas, a guy that could be like, if you don't bring back Kobe White, he could be your Kobe White replacement inside. Is where I would probably lean at this point, unless you're like betting on like developmental of Allen Graves and just not playing him much at all in the beginning.
What if they just? I'm just going to throw this randomly out there. What if they throw in someone like a Koa?
They could. I mean, if you have Koa and Morez, like that's some bulk up fronts. It's early for Koa Pete in my mind. I think I'm 27th best prospect.
But I mean, at this point, it's go time. You can't afford.
I mean, you could. You get some strength on the front line if you need it.
I mean, I'll say this: the Charlotte Hornets as a team already piss off a lot of teams in the NBA because they're young.
He can be their enforcer.
they're yappy, and that's what they need. They need someone to say, "Oh no, we're actually about this.
We're doing it." And then we go to Toronto. Toronto needs some type of guard. Probably in the perfect world, it would be a 3-and-D guard. But none of these guys really stand out as 3-and-D guards. They might take Sturge just as kind of like a safe guy for, when Quickly doesn't play, for one of these other guards don't play. Typically, they lean towards the guys that can play better defense, though, at the guard position, and that's not really Bennett Sturts.
I've got a lot of that left.
Yeah, because, like, Filan's not going to give you – well, Filan as a freshman was better defensively, but he's not big. But Corey is kind of like your prop. They might like it, Corey. They tried the Dennis Schroeder thing, and that didn't really go well in Toronto. It did for a couple games, and then it really went really wrong.
And then he showed his age.
There's not really much else. Like, unless they just do they dare risk Allen Graves? Like, you went Colin Murray Boyles last year is kind of that defensive guy that doesn't really do much else. Alan Graves could be another version of that.
Who's at the 4?
Who's at the 4?
In Toronto.
Well,
it's not BI. BI's 3-2.
Let's see. So you have Quickly.
Yep.
Quickly, RJ, Ingram, Barnes, and then whoever you're throwing, Jakob Pertl or Colin Murray Boyles or
give him Graves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you put him and Colin Murray Boyles out there at the same time, it's going to be fun. Neither one's going to score ever, but it'll be fun.
Look, you're not getting no points, but I guarantee you, it's going to be a nice little bloodbath down there.
Yeah. So for the Spurs here, are you going to big man next to Wembanyama? Or do you want to go Kareem Lopez?
Well, yeah.
So you want to go Lopez here?
Ooh, hold on. Okay, you see how it says guard playmaking right there? What was the biggest problem for San Antonio through the Western Conference Finals and the NBA Finals? Turnovers.
Yep.
You need a guy that's going to keep the ball safe for right now.
So what you're saying is you want me to take Bennett Sturts here?
That's the best available guy to be able to learn how to protect the ball, unless they can convince Castle to be better at handling the ball. Unless
it's so hard to take a guard here when they have both hard.
De'Aaron Fox.
I mean, I don't think Fox is on the team next year.
See,
somehow, I don't know how, but somehow.
So that means that this team.
I really think it needs to be a John Morant trade to get Fox off the team, but
this team takes a step back if they don't keep Fox. And it's not anything against the other guards. It's just that was his ability to penetrate was part of the reason why that opened up the floor for so many other things, and his ability to handle the ball and keep it protected. Castle can do that, but he's very handsy with the ball sometimes, and that's where the high turnover stuff came.
Okay,
so
well,
you give him back a big, then you got to keep Fox.
Yeah. So you want to go Sturts, or you want to go Sturts, Lopez, or big man, essentially? We're going to give him Sturts for this scenario. I'm just going to go right to it with the Pistons. They're taking Ibuka Okori, and we're not even going to talk about it because they love that kid. So,
76ers.
They're an interesting team. Do you go big man to be Embiid insurance, or do you just go Kareem Lopez?
Embiid insurance is immediate.
Yeah, well, Quaidance is probably not Embiid insurance when he's hurt just as much. I know some people have really linked them to Chris Nack Jr. I'm not a fan. I'd rather just take Vesar at least there, because I feel like you know what you're getting at least.
Yeah, but are you giving yourself a shelf when you get Vesar? You know what I mean? Like you can see potential, and then you see the limit.
Yeah, but I feel like he's poor man Walker Kessler, essentially. Like, Kessler was a little bit more developed in college because he played in college longer, though, as opposed to 1 year. Chris Nack, you're hoping the offensive game plays up enough.
Let's get Henri. We'll see how it goes.
Say that again?
Let's go Henri. Let's put him there because we're going with.
So we're going Vesser?
Yeah.
I think he could be enough of a pick and roll threat with Maxey to be all right, too. And then Hawks, I don't even remember who we took the first time.
Hawks were.
So we did Mara the first time.
Yep.
I feel like at this point you just have to go LeBaron Filan.
Because he's left. He's there.
Just give him the guard. He's a guy that can go get his bucket when he needs to. So it's like, and he can be the elite guard. So that one's pretty easy. Knicks have been linked to Koa Pete a lot. He's not here anymore though.
Nope.
So I know a lot of people compare Jaden Quaintance to Mitchell Robinson for good or for bad. Do you just use him as your Mitchell Robinson replacement, assuming Robinson leaves?
Indeed.
And that's probably
take away the
okay, Lakers. What would you like the Lakers to draft?
What I would like the Lakers to do is stop stashing projects and throwing them away. To be honest, there's no. They got to get the LeBron thing out of the way first. They got to get the Reeves thing out of the way second. Once they get those two things out of the way, then they got a Rui thing after that. So they got too many free agent trade possibilities things. So I think that, okay, let's throw away them trading out because they're probably going to trade down. They don't know what they're doing with this pick.
Do you want shooting or not?
They're going to go for a big man.
Period. Go for a big man
because it's easier to draft one and develop them than it is to, do DeAndre Ayton all over again.
Yeah, well, this is probably going to be Chris and Eck then. At least you got a guy that can make knockdown shots and hopefully has some upside.
Yep.
I think he should have went back to school, but that's beyond the point.
Go get your money, big man.
Our buddy Iggy with the Nuggets here. So Nuggets could use a lot of different things, honestly. It just depends on what do they want to what do they value and what do they want to keep around.
They need a Murray backup, period.
So do you draft Malik Thomas and hope the playmaking is better? You don't need the playmaking to get as good when you got Jokic.
No.
Malik Thomas is a guy that can knock down shots. He can play make enough.
You need stability in the backup rotation.
But they want somebody that can play right away too, right?
Also that.
Because I'm like, you could go Richie, you could make a case for Richie Saunders here, but he's coming off the ACL. So it's just Thomas makes more sense, I think, at this point. And then you got I skipped the. How did I go back? I don't know.
Skip Boston.
Let's skip Boston. We'll talk about Boston instead. I don't know if Ryan Conwell is going to go round one, anyways. But Boston's one of those weird teams. They can go a lot of different ways all the time.
Super big man, or they want someone that's just going to play defense all day. One of the two.
Do you take Kareem Lopez and hope he develops, or do you just take a Terrace Reed Jr.? A guy that's proven, he's a guy that's proven. They could go either way.
Boston.
Or they could go Zuby Ejiofor. Just all effort. All effort. All the time.
We're just going to hit you with the most daunting of defense around with just the smallest guys possible, and we're going to shoot the lights out on you.
I mean, Zuby was Big East Defensive Player of the Year 2 years in a row. Or is that where St. John's is? No, they're not Big East, are they?
Yeah, they are. Did they switch?
I don't remember what they are anymore. But Zuby Ejiofor would be a fun pick for Boston.
Now we're at 28.
Yeah, so and it'd be fun just having him Neemias Queta and Zuby Ejiofor. Both are essentially the same guy, but you get to play him for 48 minutes. But Ejiofor
that would be horrible. I mean, if you're playing against him, that would be horrible. And now Queta's got a year under his belt. That's horrible.
Well, and Ejiofor's got a little bit more offensive game too, to him at least.
Imagine the whole trade thing passes and you're Jaylen Brown and now you're sitting on the bench the first 10 games, whatever. Yep. You're looking out on the court. And you're just watching Embiid and Towns and all the big men just get beat up on, just smash his first 10 games. And you're sitting there with a grin on your face.
Yeah. So let's see. So that was Boston, Minnesota State.
So we're not saying Conwell, we're saying Ejiofor, but I mean,
Yeah. I don't think Conwell's going round one in our mock, so we'll just act like that's Zuby Ejiofor.
Yep.
Because apparently that quickly.
It's fine. We got 10 minutes left, give or take, 3 picks.
Yep. I'm doing pretty good now. We started a little slow, but some of these ones it's just Pistons are taking a Corey. It doesn't matter.
You mean the actual draft is going to go?
Yeah.
First 15.
Yep.
The talk.
Minnesota needs that lead guard, but do you take any is there anybody you're comfortable past who's already gone as a lead guard?
No.
Honestly, if it is, it's Jaden Bradley out of Arizona, like a guy that's done it for a long time,
Right.
like in the Big 12. He's he could be your not saying what Mike Conley used to be, but we had 38-year-old Mike Conley last year playing significant minutes. He could be a slight upgrade over that.
Yeah, at least for the youth.
And he's a good defender. He's a really good defender too.
Give him really good minutes when Minnesota needed a ball handler. I mean, what was it?
Yeah. So it's or do they? I don't know if they can take Kareem Lopez. They can't play him.
We have 12 small forwards. They all play the same position. What's going on with DiVincenzo? Maybe they could if they ship him. Because Dante wasn't playing that well.
He's hurt, so I'm just giving him Jaden Bradley. I know they want to trade up for a guard, but at this point, it's there's nothing else there. This is your biggest need. Even if he's a slight upgrade over Conley, who was playing too many minutes for a 38-year-old, it's a win. Cavs are up next. So the Cavs supposedly have been really linked to this Sergio De Lara. Probably not pronouncing his name right.
De La Rea.
The Spain kid that we thought was going to go to college but didn't. Or they could do something really fun. They could redshirt Reggie Saunders for a year and then just replace Max Strus the next year. It's basically the same guy.
This is recorded. I just want to make sure that when we're looking at that amongst the nonsense between, wow, and that would be their 3-and-D guy.
For which one? For Saunders?
For Saunders.
I could see them doing it hey, replace Strus for a year and then just get out of him and then go to Saunders the next year. He's coming off the ACL. He was on, I can't remember what podcast it was, and they asked him, what's the thing he's looking forward to most getting on the court? And he said, getting an offensive rebound.
Wow. That's some Dellavedova type stuff right there.
I don't know. It makes sense. It makes sense to me, unless you really want to take Kareem Lopez and develop him. Boy, did we just push Kareem Lopez out of the first round?
Well, no, not necessarily, because I mean, this is Dallas we're talking about at the 30 spot.
And Dallas took Wagler earlier, I think. Yep.
You know what? We could be nice. You can give him Kareem.
For Dallas or for Cleveland?
For Dallas, not Cleveland.
Okay. Can we go? So we're going to Cleveland or the Richie Saunders here?
Yep.
Okay. And then we'll go Kareem Lopez with the last pick. And Kareem Lopez is one of those guys that's just kind of I want full results. I don't want team results. So I'm just going to go through this real quickly. So on the first pick, the Wizards took AJ DeBonsa. The Jazz took Cam Boozer at 2. Darren Peterson went 3 to the Grizzlies. Caleb Wilson to the Bulls at 4. Darius Acuff at 5 to the Clippers, which probably is going to be a Kings trade up, honestly. Yep. Braden Burries went 6 to the Nets. Kingston Fleming 7 to the Kings, which if they flip-flop with the Clippers, that probably won't be Kingston Fleming. He'll probably go down a couple spicks, maybe Dallas. Adai Mara went to the Hawks. Keem Wagler to the Dallas Mavericks. Nate Amen to the Milwaukee Bucks. Nate Amen's been closely tied to the Bucks and the Nets. The Warriors, we went Yaxel Lendenberg, despite Mikal Brown Jr. being on the board. OKC got gifted Mikal Brown Jr. Miami kind of got stuck in this weird spot, but hopefully for their case, maybe they trade this pick for Giannis, as part of the Giannis package. But Christian Anderson was a guy that fits what they like, at least. In a very interesting project, I can't really call it a project, but development of player Morez Johnson Jr. to the Hornets, Cam Carr to the Bulls. The Memphis Grizzlies making the most Memphis Grizzly pick of all, and Dalen Swain. Not that he's a bad player, but it's just like that type of mold that they go for. OKC, Hannes Steinbach to be that Isaiah Hartenstein replacement. The Hornets get their enforcer and Kobe. Actually, two enforcers. Murrez Johnson could be kind of fun. The Raptors went all defense with Allen Graves. Hopefully, he develops into something else. We had the Spurs go Bennett Sturts here to kind of have a good ball handling, not his turnover prone guard, I think is kind of how we refer to it. Corey was there for the Pistons, so they just took him because apparently they love the kid. Henry Vessar is kind of your Joel Embiid safety net behind him. LeBaron Philon to the Hawks at 23. Jaden Quaynance kind of as your Mitchell Robinson insurance if he does not come back. Chris Nack Jr. to the Lakers, kind of developmental big man that could potentially knock down some shots. The Nuggets going Willie Thomas is kind of, a potential 3-and-D role player that could potentially handle the ball some. The Celtics, we did go Zuby Ejiofor. This is not Ryan Conwell. That was a accidental click, and I was not able to reverse it. And then there wasn't really a guard left for the Timberwolves, so Jaden Bradley could kind of fit the mold, kind of a Mike Conley upgrade at this point in time. Richie Saunders to be a potential Max Strus replacement after a potential redshirt year, and then Kareem Lopez with the final pick to the Dallas Mavericks. So that's pretty quick rundown. This kind of, a little bit of us talking through it, a little bit of kind of what we expect to happen. Obviously, one domino falling over can tip over another. One little thing can cause a chain reaction in a very big way, just especially depending on how these teams see these players.
Yep. And at the end of the day, I mean, we're not savants, but we watch hoop. So it's the reason why we pick who we pick. You guys make sure to follow us. Check us out. We're going to post this up on X, up on the site, so you guys can follow along, put out your predictors, just kind of compare, see where we're at. If you like our thinking, let us know. If you don't, also let us know.
And potentially in the works of having at least first round live stream on Tuesday at this point in time. I kind of talked to JC about it a little bit. So be on the lookout for that potentially. We'll see what we can do. Otherwise, definitely enjoy the NBA draft. If you have not done so already, be sure to like, comment, subscribe on this video. It's a sports affiliation in general. Feel free to check out all the sponsors of the sports affiliation as well, drafters. I can't even remember them all. So just go over to the site, find them there. Definitely do all that stuff. Check out the site. I have my top 40 big board over on the sports affiliation website as well. Not too much else to say on my end. If you got anything else to say, JR, I'll leave it to you. But otherwise, we'll get out of here.
Olivia Rodrigo is her. That's it. That's the end quote. If you guys don't know ball, you better figure it out. Watch the links.
All right. So we will get out of here. Everybody that's watching it, if you're watching tonight, have a great night. If you're watching it in the future, prior to NBA draft, definitely appreciate you. Have a good day as well. But with that being said, once again, I am Coach Craig. That is JR. This is some TSA NBA mock draft for round one for the 2026 NBA draft. And with that being said, we'll be getting out of here.